All right, so today we are diving into document shredding with GreenFlow and
I know you're
document shredding. That doesn't sound very
thinking.
exciting,
Okay.
but trust me on this one. There's actually a lot more to it than meets the eye. We're going to
Well,
go really in depth today on the why of secure shredding and really take a look at what GreenFlow does with data protection, compliance assurance,
yeah.
all that good stuff.
Those are actually really key terms that you bring up, data protection and compliance assurance, because in today's world, they're not just buzzwords anymore, they're really necessary.
So unpack that for us a little bit. Why are these concepts so crucial right now?
Well, just think about it. Every time that you, for example, throw out a bank statement or a medical bill or even a receipt that has your signature on it, all of that is sensitive information that could be, pieced together.
Oh,
Yeah. And data breaches, those aren't just things that you see in movies.
right.
The Identity Theft Resource Center actually reported that last year alone, there were over 1.9 million cases of identity theft in the U.S.
Wow, 1.9 million.
It's one piece.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So it's not even just like our names in the wrong hands.
It's serious.
Yeah, it's serious financial and legal consequences too.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of compliance assurance comes in.
Yeah.
Especially for businesses, they have a legal and ethical obligation to dispose of sensitive information properly.
Right.
And failure to do so can result in some pretty hefty fines, lawsuits, irreparable damage to your reputation.
Yeah.
GreenFlow takes the weight of all those regulations and makes sure that everything is handled by the book.
So they're going above and beyond just feeding paper into a shredder.
Oh, yeah, like a shield against those risks you're talking about.
Exactly. And that's actually where I thought their process overview that they have on their website was really interesting to me.
Okay.
Because it's not just about shredding, but they're focused on the secure collection, the transportation, and the certified destruction of your documents.
Mm-hmm.
So they really take every step to make sure that information is truly gone.
I have to admit, when I saw certified destruction, I was picturing something out of a spy thriller.
Right.
Like, what is that?
It sounds very serious, and it's critical because it means that GreenFlow is adhering to the strictest industry standards.
Okay.
And that provides an auditable trail, so you have documented proof of secure disposal, which is really essential for peace of mind and, of course, compliance. So they're not just shredding documents. They're like vaporizing the data,
Right.
hitting the delete key on physical documents, but then they take it a step further.
Right.
So I was really interested by this whole One Tree Planted partnership. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah. So it's actually a really cool part of their business model because for every service that they provide, GreenFlow actually makes a donation to One Tree Planted, which is an organization that's completely dedicated to global reforestation efforts.
Okay, so how did they connect document shredding with planting trees?
Seems like kind of a leap, but a cool one.
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of a leap, but it actually ties back into their commitment to not just protecting data, but also protecting the environment.
Okay.
So, paper production, of course, has an impact on forests. So by partnering with One Tree Planted, they're taking this like proactive approach to offsetting their environmental footprint and really contributing to a more sustainable future.
So they're like closing the loop in a way.
Right.
You shred paper, they plant a tree.
Exactly.
Pretty simple concept, but
Yeah,
probably resonates with a lot of people.
I think so.
And speaking of specifics, let's talk about some of the things that make GreenFlow stand out.
Okay.
I was going through their FAQs, and by the way, they have a really in-depth FAQ section.
They do.
And I noticed they have like customized container options.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that really stood out to me as well. I think it really speaks to their understanding of just like the diverse needs that are out there.
Right.
Because not every business is the same, and neither are their security requirements.
Right.
Of course. GreenFlow really recognizes that by offering really tailored solutions for storing and transporting sensitive material.
Yeah. Who knew there was a whole world of like shredding container options?
Right.
It's very specific.
It's very specific.
And then another thing I noticed was that they've been around since 1992,
That's a long time.
which is a really long time.
That's like ancient history.
That is ancient history in the tech world especially.
Yeah.
So clearly they're doing something right.
For sure.
One last thing I wanted to touch on from their FAQs was this whole section on their core values,
Yeah.
which I always think is interesting to see for any company.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of...
What are the principles that guide this company?
Yeah, for sure. And GreenFlow really emphasizes integrity and transparency. And I think, as we've discussed, environmental responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's clear that these values are really embedded in their operations.
Absolutely. It's really interesting to me how something like document shredding, which seems so simple on the surface,
Actually has all this like extra depth to it.
it really just goes to show that it's so important to look beyond the surface, right?
Totally.
Because it's so easy to miss those little details about the things we encounter every day.
Yeah, for sure. So for our listeners who are at home thinking, okay, this is all interesting, but how does this apply to me?
Hmm?
What would you say is the biggest takeaway from our deep dive today?
That's a good question. I think the main point is that information security is everyone's responsibility,
Yeah.
whether it's digital or physical, and that it's not just about corporations or, government agencies or anything like that.
Yeah.
But every time you throw something away, you should really think about what information might be on that piece of paper. And you know how you can dispose of it securely.
It's like that old saying, one man's trash
Yeah.
is.
Another man's treasure trove of personal data.
Exactly.
Big.
But in a more positive light, I think.
It's also a good reminder that even those small actions can have a big impact.
Absolutely.
Like choosing a company like GreenFlow isn't just about getting rid of old papers, it's about supporting responsible data management
Yeah,
and environmental sustainability, too.
for sure.
So the next time you see a shredder, maybe don't think of it as such a mundane thing.
Because there's actually this whole world of data protection and environmental consciousness.
And, maybe even a little bit of spy thriller intrigue going on behind the scenes.
Right. It's a lot more exciting than it sounds.
Exactly. So next time you're about to throw out that old bank statement, just remember there's more to it than meets the eye. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. What other everyday things in your life might have hidden depths just waiting to be explored?